All right, hello, and welcome to another installment of Miss Holloway giving you directions for the day. Yeah, that's kind of what these videos are going to be this week, just because this week we're just taking notes and reading, so it's really a very independent week for you. Obviously, you'll have to know what needs to be done by certain days and what needs to be submitted by certain days, but really, like, this week is going to be super your time management type of situation because I'm not going to give you a lesson to watch and an assignment to complete because we're onto a project now where you're really having to time manage and get what needs to be done. So for this week, like I said, it is a research week, and this is technically the first day of your research. So what you'll have to do is access the note template that I have created for you. A big part of compiling information for your persuasive project is having evidence to support your reasons. So if you say that Amy Klobuchar should put more actions in place to stop global warming, then you would have to have 3 reasons to support that. And you can come up with the reasons just in general terms. Well, because we will die if we don't do something about this, okay? Tell me what evidence supports that we will die. Who says? And what are the numbers? And what are the statistics? That's what you're going to find in your reading and note taking. So today you are going to start that process by going into the click here to start taking notes link in the Wednesday folder. You will go in and hit this link. Like you have had to do for multiple other Google Drive assignments, you'll have to make a copy so that you get your own copy and you're not just all taking notes in the same document. That would not work. So make that copy for sure. Hop in here. Before you even look at any of this, go up here and name the note-taking document your name. First and last, please, because we have a lot of repeat names. And notes. Oops, not nights. Notes. All right. So I should see all of your names and notes so I can go into my Google Drive and see who's been accessing their note document daily and who hasn't. Just because this week, like I said, is very much up to you to gather the information that you need. If I don't see that you're accessing your note document and taking notes daily, you're going to get docked points, unfortunately, in the participation category. And really, it's going to affect you overall because if you're not reading an article a day and taking notes each day, you're not going to have the requirements you will ultimately need for the essay at the very end. So you're really taking away from your participation and your overall essay grade. Not good, especially mid-May, not good. All right, so hear me out when I say this is the best thing for you to be doing this week is to be reading an article a day. They're very short. Newsella is designed for students, so they're very easy reads, a couple of paragraphs, but a ton of information jam-packed into them. So I want to read an article and then take notes in the column each day. So today you should have all of this done. Tomorrow you should have all of this done. Friday you should have that third one done. And if you want to have more evidence, you want to make a stronger essay, you want to get that A, you can go down and do optional source 4 and optional source 5 as well, because for all the topics there are more than 3 articles. Some of the topics even have 9 articles that I was able to find. So you have plenty of options if you want to have more evidence. So once you have named your note document, your job for today is to read your first source. So what I would do is I would hop into Newsella. Let me go back here. And I would browse around all of the articles that I've listed for you. Looks like some of you are even browsing already. That's awesome. So there's all of these articles. Let's say that I'm doing my essay on reducing waste and the power of that. So I'll go to this Rise of Zero Waste Restaurants article, and I will say, okay, this is my source 1. I would probably skim it first, be like, okay, what does this have in it? Okay, it's an informational article, gives a lot of definitions. This might be really good for background information, lots of numbers happening here. Okay, I'm going to use this article, right? Give it a good skim. If you don't give it a skim, you might waste your time reading something you don't actually need. So give it a skim and then decide, all right, this is the article that I'm reading today. Again, 1 article per day is just fine. If you end up not getting it done, no problem transferring that into the next day as long as you're staying up to date with the source per day requirement that I have for this week. So we will go into our thing. I already have it in here just to save some time. So my source 1 is from Newsella. Newsella will already be in here for you just because most of the research you'll find is from Newsella. It's called The Rise of Zero Waste Restaurants. It was published on April 21st, put that in there. And to get that link, all I did was go up to the top bar, copy, and then pasted it right in here. So what I've done is I've created this template so that you are getting exactly what you need for your essay. I don't want you guys just copying and pasting aimless notes. That's a waste of your time. It's going to be more confusing for you. It's much easier if everything is broken up into categories. So when you go to do your first article today, you will want to collect evidence that supports your argument. So things that definitely align with what you're trying to say. This is weird, but collect ideas that do not support your side of the argument. So things that you can use for that counterclaim paragraph where you have to say, well, some people think this, but I'm going to prove them wrong. So make sure you collect enough things that you have options for that. And then you'll want to collect some background notes and history and overview of the topic, because you're going to have background information in your introduction, and you're going to have it weaved throughout your paragraph so that your reader is constantly informed on what you're talking about. So I would say that these two should be the fullest columns for each of your sources. For this one, I would at least try to find a couple per article. If your article doesn't have anything that opposes your argument, it is okay to leave that blank, right? As long as one of your sources has an idea that opposes your argument, then you are good to go there. So that is what you're doing. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. So I'm reading through my zero waste restaurants here. Let's see. Okay, let's just steal this quote. We'll say, everybody is realizing there has to be a change, says David Suchi, co-owner of the Zero Waste Vegan Restaurant, whatever. Literally, you can just steal this quote if it would let me. Copy. And because it is a quote from a person, that's the only reason why I'm copying and pasting. Normally, I would not endorse copying and pasting, but it's literally a quote. Like when you put it in your essay, you're going to write it just how it is. So we'll paste that in there. We'll even give it a little bullet point to keep you organized. And then when you go down to put in your next quote, you can do another bullet point. You could also do what's called paraphrasing. So let's find something to paraphrase here. Okay, here's a good counterclaim. So avoiding food waste is the first and perhaps the most obvious challenge for zero waste restaurants. So you could say, okay, so somebody might say, producing zero waste is very difficult for restaurants. That's not how you spell restaurants. To accomplish. Let's just say that. So that's a good paraphrase of that sentence. Producing zero waste is very difficult. It's a process, and obviously you can elaborate on that more in your actual letter. But for now, we have a nice little piece of evidence that says somewhere in a credible article, it says that this task is difficult. And that's when you would come in and argue against that statement. All right. And then obviously this part is very easy. You would just collect various facts and information about the topic so that you have that for your introduction and for your other paragraphs. So today, get all of this done. I would say have just like 2 to 3 quotes and paraphrases in each of these blocks. Then tomorrow, Thursday, you will move on to source 2, read that article, collect information. Then source 3, read that article, collect information. And then over the weekend, if you want to do these, that's totally fine. But yeah, Newsela is super cool. All of these articles are very short. Like I said, it's very student friendly, so it shouldn't take you super long to read an article. I'd say take 5 to 7 minutes to read the article, take 10 minutes to take notes, and you are good for the day. All right, so please remember that this process is what is going to ultimately build up to writing the essay. So the stuff that you collect now is probably the stuff you will end up using in your writing. So get the best stuff you can, find the most compelling evidence that you possibly can, so you're not having to go back and dig in your articles and you actually start the writing process. All right, so go ahead. Oh, I totally forgot to make sure that you share this with me, because I will not have the notes since you made that copy. So after you make the title, you'll want to share it with my Holloway-Courtney email. And then you will be good for the day, and I will continuously check in on your notes on Thursday and Friday to make sure that you have those days' notes too, and give you those points that you need. All right, thank you very much.